How's it going, everybody? This is going to be my first video since opening the shop. I've been wanting to get back on YouTube and doing a few videos and stuff, see what people think. This video for me is about knee pads. Obviously this is aimed at more of the older skaters who are like me, who aren't necessarily coming back to go all out. We're coming back to have some fun and just do little things what we can, and obviously new skaters who are getting into the game. So this is more my experience on certain pads that I've used over the last couple of years. Obviously there are skaters out there who don't use pads and are mega skilled and they aren't bothered, but there are people like myself who rely on pads, especially knee pads for me. Obviously I've had knee surgery now on both knees, and I only have to knock my knee on the corner of a table and I am in absolute agony and probably can't skate, if I'm honest. So knee pads have become a major thing. Now, when I first got back into it in 2020, I started on the Rect knee gasket. Now, I think they're about 20, 25 quid. Now, they're not a bad pad, to be fair. They're quite lightweight, very flexible, so you wouldn't really know you've got them on. They wouldn't hinder your skating in any way whatsoever. But saying that, they are a very, very small surface area and it is quite soft. So impact wise, I think if you were one of these skaters where you can fall like a ballerina and you know how to fall, they're probably going to be sufficient enough and you're probably going to get away with them, not a problem. If you're someone like me who falls and you fall like a sack of shit, they don't work. Once I had one major fall in them and I bashed my knee, that was it. I had to order some new pads because they did nothing for me and I was in a lot of pain. So I then went on to the TSG knee gasket. Now this, immediately when I put this on, this felt a lot more supportive in the actual way the pad is made and how it feels on your leg. And I actually really liked the fit of this. But the downside of what I found from this pad, and this pad is very expensive, by the way. I think they range from anything from 60 to 100 quid, depending on if anyone's got them on sale. But yeah, the downside to me, if we can get inside and show you. Now again, it might not bother some people, but for me, because of how my knees are, it does. Inside, there's a hole so that you can take the pad out. Now, because that hole is right on your kneecap, and the actual material inside is supposed to be this absorbent material, so it's not foam, it's quite hard. And because that has got a plastic cap on inside, you can also see that it's got like a little bit of stretchy fabric that they've used to slot through and tie the plastic cap on the internal side of it. Now, when I first put these on, you can feel it on your kneecap. And for me, I was like, although the actual pad fit really nice, the actual internal area was very uncomfortable on the kneecap. And when I had a few falls, it wasn't nice, it wasn't soft, it wasn't comfortable, and it didn't absorb. And for me, it was, I had one bad fall on them and that was it. I was like, you know, better than the Rect knee pads, and I was in a lot of pain again. So I was struggling because, again, a lot of people, you don't want these big massive things with massive caps because they are huge and you can't put them under your jeans if you don't want to be that person that's known with loads of pads on. And it was a shame because I do think they're a nice pad and they fit well. But again, it let me down and I don't think it's as good as people made out. I am now skating the Core Pro knee gaskets. Now again, straight out of the box, these are really, really nice. The actual sleeve at the back is so thin and breathable that that's going to be far better for your leg for sweating. And the padding area is, if you can see, it is a lot bigger. So the actual area that it covers on your knee is far better. Now, again, it's not the impact material that's used in that, and it's not as soft as the Rect. It is quite firm, it's got a bit of movement to it, but it's thick and it's just got enough softness so that it's comfortable. Now, I had a fall in these the other day now, albeit it wasn't a major fall. It was only a small fall, but normally for me, any type of fall where I have a bit of impact on my knee, I feel it and it hurts. And I didn't feel an absolute thing. So far, so good since I've had these. They buy a mile better than any of them. And again, they're only 50 quid for a pair. So they are an absolute bargain. And they look really, really nice. The downside is they are pretty long on your legs. So if you wear shin pads like myself, they do sort of interfere a little bit. I've got Triple H shin pads that I think are quite long compared to most. So they sit over, so they're a bit awkward. So I am probably going to look at changing my shin pads to see if that's any better. And then the other downside is the actual bottom part of the sleeve. Now, because there's no strap like there is at the top, the strap's really nice to be fair, but because there's no strap, this area is quite a tight fit, so that when it slots on, obviously it stays on and you only need to strap it at the top. But the downside, because it's quite tight, the actual rim, if you can see, the actual rim is quite thick. Now that does cause a bit of a pressure point on my leg for me. Now once you've started skating and you're off, it disappears and you don't notice it. But I think it's something I'd just tell people just in case, because they might put it on and go, oh my God, that's horrible, I'm not skating then. But you do forget about it. I have come home and I have got a bit of a mark across where it's sort of pressured and put a bit of a dent in the skin by the end of the session. But again, it soon goes back to normal. And I would class that as nothing really, considering so far how much of a difference these have made. And I am really, really impressed. And I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping because I don't want to fall and I don't want to land on my knees, but I'm hoping that if I do, these are finally the pads for me, because this is my third set now that I've got. And as you can see, all them are still in great condition. It's one of them where you don't want to keep spending and buying different pads and pads and pads. But again, as a gasket, they are bigger and bulkier than them. So they are sort of borderline, almost a big knee pad. But they fit still under my jeans. I do wear slightly baggier jeans. But overall, yeah, I think if you're going to look at a knee pad, and if you're like me, if you're not someone who's like these guys who go throwing hammers, who's an incredible skater, I can do the odd little thing and I enjoy doing what I do. And I do need to stay padded up and look after my knees. So if you're someone like myself, just coming back into it, or if you're a complete newbie and you want to be protected just in case, these by a mile are the pad that I would recommend. I hope that's been a bit of advice and a bit helpful to anybody out there. If anybody wants to reach out and have a chat over all the knee pads that I've gone through, let me know. So thanks for listening, guys, and go get yourself some cool pro knee gaskets. Cheers.